Alright guys, what's going on? Today's Wednesday, so as usual we are doing a versus battle, although I will say that today is going to be a little bit different than the usual versus battles that I do. If you're not new to the channel, then you know I usually have this character versus this character, but this time I have a little bit different of an idea because a lot of people have been wanting me to do Enel versus whoever videos, and for one thing, I really don't like him as a character. I didn't like the entire Skypiea arc. But people keep requesting this, and it's not even so much that I don't like him or whatever. The big issue here is that I don't think he is as strong as a lot of people think, and I kind of want to do a Enel versus current characters video. It's a little hard to explain, so let's just get into this shit and you guys will understand what I'm talking about. So the first problem I always bring up with these kind of characters is that he does not really have a mastery of hockey, and while he does have observation hockey, he doesn't have armament. I think this is a huge issue, okay? I mean, all Vice Admirals are supposed to at least have armament hockey. I think based on the context of what we've heard in the story, it pretty much means that they have to have both observation and armament hockey, which means this would be a serious issue for Enel or anyone without both of them to deal with. While I will say, as long as you're not dealing with a Logia, observation is probably the better one to have by itself, I still don't think it's nearly as strong as just having a decent understanding of the two of them. They make for a ridiculously powerful combination, and I mean, if everyone else is going to have observation hockey, that pretty much cancels out his, and then they just have the huge advantage of armament hockey, which also means that his Logia doesn't really help them. And honestly anyway, based on what we've seen, without being able to use his Devil Fruit, he really is not that strong of a fighter. I mean, it's like I'm the only one that actually saw Skypiea, I swear. Whenever I bring this up, whenever I say, you know, his moves really didn't impress me that much, when he was not able to use his Devil Fruit against Luffy, he just got completely smoked, which is pretty stupid, and people are like, oh, well, you know, Luffy's a perfect counter, like, how was he supposed to account for that? What? What does that have to do with anything? I mean, like I just said, just by having armament hockey, you can already hit Enel, which is pretty much the biggest issue, like that you can't hit a Logia. And then, okay, obviously, it hurts that he couldn't use any offensive lightning moves against Luffy because he would just be immune to it all. But at the same time, I mean, it's a pretty big issue if he cannot even really go toe-to-toe with, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it was a pretty close battle for sure, but seriously, this is Gear 1 Luffy. Like, that is a huge issue. This guy is not even close to the physical levels that you need to have to survive in, like, the New World. I mean, pretty much it's like a prerequisite at this point that if you are worth anything, you can pretty much teleport. You know, like, not really teleport, but, like, when you like dash at someone, you kind of just disappear off the screen for the audience, like, because you're so fast. I mean, come on. Like, just really think about, okay, we have Enel who loses to Gear 1 Luffy. What would happen if he had to face him in, like, Water 7 when Luffy had Gear 2 and Gear 3? Gear 3 is not that useful, but Gear 2, he's on a completely different physical level. He's way stronger. He's way faster. Enel wouldn't have stood a chance. He was about even with Luffy in Gear 1. I mean, come on. Even though he has one of the most ridiculously overpowered Devil Fruits in the entire series, possibly even like first or second strongest of the Logias, I want to say the Light Fruit is the strongest, but I don't know. We're not really sure on what that can do at this point, where the Lightning one does seem to be pretty OP. I think it is very strong, but I don't think that all of these like New World level characters, I mean, if you even consider Lucci New World, because he really wasn't in Water 7, they would all be moving so fast that Enel couldn't even hit him. And like, if this guy gets hit at all, which is not going to be that hard, because as we've seen against Luffy, he got hit plenty of times, he is going to get fucking smashed. Just like I've been saying, Gear 1 Luffy was able to do enough damage to defeat him, okay? So, not just like Gear 2 Luffy, just any other New World people who are way stronger. Gear 4th Luffy? Like, Gear 4th Luffy, which was enough to one-shot Doffy with his ultimate attack. I mean, come on. Just Gear 4th, just without like a super attack, just like one punch, should be able to pretty much one-shot Enel. I mean, come on, seriously, think of the power scaling we've seen in this series, and tell me that Enel is going to be able to take the hits that these guys are capable of dealing. Dofi got blasted halfway across a country while he was using armament haki to defend himself. Enel is just going to be completely naked, getting hit by even Gear 2, but Gear 4 and all the other people in the New World. You're telling me this guy's going to stand a chance? The only way this guy would even come close to standing a chance if he was so ridiculously overpowered, which I don't think he is, that he could just one-shot everyone with his lightning, like using some kind of area of effect around him. But I don't think that would even stop people in the One Piece world. For one thing, what if they could just coat their body in armament haki, okay? I don't know how difficult of a task this is actually, but I feel like Zoro could probably do it. We've seen Vergo do it. We've seen Pika do it. We've seen Pika do it. Like, Pika's not that impressive. So I don't think it's that hard to do. For all we know, being covered in haki would completely, like, nullify Devil Fruit's abilities. I personally don't think so, but I've heard a lot of people say this before, and it is most certainly a possibility. But even if it doesn't nullify it, it would drastically reduce the damage, especially depending on how strong your haki is. And at the very least, you could just deal with the whole lightning fact. Like, you could just take the damage real quick and just one-shot him. I'm telling you, these New World guys are way stronger than Enel can handle. If Enel could not handle Gear 1 Luffy, even though it was pretty much a draw, it was that close, it wasn't really a finished fight, he wasn't able to handle it. He took way too much damage from Gear 1. All these New World guys, Gear 2, Gear 3, Gear 4 Luffy would completely fucking smoke his ass. It would just be a blowout, no contest. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, they might even be watching this video right now. I've had people in my comment sections tell me that Enel could possibly beat Kizaru, okay? Kizaru the Admiral that some people consider to be the strongest of the Admirals. And not even just beat Kizaru, I've even heard people go as far as to say that he is and always has been the most powerful character in the entire series, okay? Like, are you insane? Like, for real, I already think it's ridiculous enough when people suggest that Kizaru is the strongest character in the series. I made an entire video about that pretty much, but this is just on a completely different level, okay? Like, Kizaru is an admiral. He, you know, at least at first glance, has by far the most overpowered Devil Fruit in the series. But Enel, like, yeah, I get his Devil Fruit's insanely overpowered, it really is. But he got beat by Gear 1 Luffy regardless of the lightning being nullified. I mean, all of these New World people, dude, they're not going to be able to, like, just get destroyed by that. It's not going to end them. I mean, we were able to see that people in Sky Island were able to take damage from him. Sure, they were completely, like, wiped out, like they couldn't move after it, but it didn't just instantly kill them. And he probably could have used a stronger attack to kill them anyway, but that's not really the point. The point is that if he's not using, like, a super, you know, one-shot attack on someone that only hits one person, it's like supposed to target one person, then he's not going to be able to do enough damage, and that's against people who didn't have haki. They were just way physically weaker. I mean, they're just nothing compared to what we've seen now. Like, it's like people just don't respect the power scaling in this series for some reason. I don't really get what it is. And now listen, while I hate Skypiea and I hate Enel as a character, that has nothing to do with this, really. Honestly, I wish he would have been stronger. I wish he wouldn't have gotten so completely destroyed by Luffy just because he was made of rubber. I wish he didn't rely on his Devil Fruit so much. I really think if he has observation haki, he should have easily been able to take on Luffy, and that's one of the biggest problems with his character to me. So what I'm saying is, just because I don't like this character, just because I don't like the arc that he is the main antagonist of, doesn't mean that I have any bias, okay? If anything, I want the people who I don't like to be stronger. So yeah, I feel like I've pretty much talked about everything here. I mean, there's really not much more to say, I don't think. It really all comes down to that he lost to Gear 1 Luffy, okay? Gear 2 would be a completely different level. The whole rubber nullifying it doesn't really make any sense. He shouldn't be able to lose to Gear 1 Luffy while he has observation haki. He's obviously not that good at it. He doesn't have armament haki for whatever reason. That's just kind of silly. Even if he has one of the most overpowered Devil Fruits of all time, I don't think it's going to be even nearly enough to stop these New World animals. I mean, seriously, do you think Zoro would be stopped by some lightning hitting him? Sure, it would hurt a lot. But this is the guy who just dove straight into Kuma's giant paw of pure damage, okay? Like, he can put up with it to just get one shot in. I can't emphasize that enough, guys. It would be a one shot on Enel. Like, seriously, look at the damage, okay? Look at the power levels that we've seen recently. There's just no way. That's all I really have to say about this. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about this video. I am more than willing to debate this with you guys in the comments. Just please, I'm begging you, make some kind of reasonable arguments. Okay, for one thing, like, a huge problem that always happens is people just say, no, I disagree. And that's it. Like, that's the end of the comment. I mean, really, like, I spend, you know, all this time making this video, making all these points with a decent amount of evidence supporting them. Like, it's not just me being biased. I'm not just pulling the shit out of my ass. Like, I'm making fair points, okay? And you say, oh, yeah, I disagree. You're wrong. You're an idiot. Well, like, can you give me some kind of reasoning? Can we have some kind of conversation, a debate here? Like, I can't just say, well, okay, sure, you disagree. Have a good one. I don't know, how do you expect me to reply to that? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, be sure to let me know what you guys thought about this, any ideas you have on this video, any ideas you have for future videos, future theories you'd like me to talk about, different discussion videos. I need help coming up with all these ideas. I make a lot of videos a week now. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching until the end. I hope you guys have an excellent day, and I'll talk to you guys on Friday.